My name is Gloria Steslick, and for the past 10 years of my life, I have had to take standardized tests. Millions of students are required to take standardized tests every year, including the ACT and the SAT, which are often mandatory in the admission processes for colleges. As I have grown older, I have realized how high-stakes standardized testing is within the school system, and yet, how limiting it truly is for students. Did you know that an average United States student takes nearly 112 mandatory standardized tests from between kindergarten to 12th grade? Furthermore, did you know that the standardized tests would equate to 20 to 25 hours yearly for students, and on average, students take 8 standardized tests a year? Doing the math, you get 280 to 336 hours of straight testing for an average student from kindergarten to 12th grade. This equates to nearly 12 to 14 days of around-the-clock testing. However, this number does not also include test prep students endure prior to the actual test. Now, knowing this, it begs the question, is all this time spent on standardized testing worth it? I believe that standardized testing does not adequately measure students' learning ability, but instead teaches test-taking strategies and prohibits the usage of creative thinking at a young age. So what defines a standardized test? A standardized test requires 2 defining factors, one being the requirement for all test takers to answer the same or similar type questions, and the second being that the test be scored in a standard or consistent way. Oftentimes, these tests are multiple choice, but can sometimes include true-false, short answer, and essays. Standardized tests are most commonly administered on paper and pencil and scored on a Scantron, which scores students' worksheets through a machine. Standardized tests became a common occurrence in the United States in 2001 when the No Child Left Behind Act, or the NCLB Act, was passed. The NCLB Act required all schools in the United States to administer a math and reading test every year from grades 3 to 8 and once from grades 9 to 12. The goal of this act was to level the playing field for students who are disadvantaged, including students in poverty, minorities, students receiving special education services, and those who speak limited or no English. These tests also tracked academic process. Schools were expected to bring all their students' scores up to the proficient level. Schools received report cards from the state yearly on how they were performing. If schools repeatedly failed to meet these requirements, the state would have the option to shut down the school. Those who are pro-standardized testing often say that these tests provide a reliable source of information, that most parents approve of standardized testing, and that stricter standards and increased testing better prepare students for college. In contrast, those who oppose standardized testing say standardized testing has not improved students' academic achievements, they fail to truly measure students' academic abilities, and CLB tests narrow down the curriculum, instruction time is replaced with preparation, testing creates high-stress situation for young students, testing is expensive, and the multiple choice format prohibits creative thinking in young students. So what do I believe? I believe standardized testing only tests a limited portion of what makes education meaningful, and instead of being able to teach something worthwhile, teachers often have to teach to the test. In addition, I believe too many tests are being administered and forced upon students. Because of this, do these tests really benefit students academically? The majority of standardized tests only cover the subjects of reading, writing, and math. Due to this, teachers will often teach the test and base their lessons around what will improve these skills. Because of this, the subjects of history, science, art, and technology are often overlooked or deemed unimportant. According to the late education researcher Gerald W. Bracey, standardized tests cannot measure creativity, critical thinking, resilience, motivation, persistence, curiosity, endurance, reliability, enthusiasm, empathy, self-awareness, self-discipline, leadership, civic-mindedness, courage, compassion, resourcefulness, sense of beauty, sense of wonder, honesty, and integrity. Also, I believe too many tests are being administered onto students. As I have previously stated, the typical student will take 112 standardized tests from kindergarten to 12th grade, each test taking around 2 to 2.5 to 3 hours of class time. I believe that these tests eat away what could be beneficial class time. After reviewing what makes standardized testing so toxic, I will now review alternative options to standardized testing. There's a multitude of options. These include sampling, stealth assessments, multiple measures, social and emotional skill surveys, game-based assessments, performance/portfolio-based assessments, and inspections. Sampling is the same test, however, students don't have to take them as often. For example, instead of every year, students take them in grades 4, 8, and 12. Stealth assessment is a testing method that was originally suggested by Scholastic. They say they would be able to create a software system that is able to progressively track a student's data throughout the year. Through small online tests, they would be able to track mastered skills as well as how quickly a student is able to learn the new material. Multiple measures is a combination of information such as graduation rates, disciplinary outcomes, demographic information, and teacher assessments. Social and emotional skill surveys are online-based surveys. NPR states that Montgomery County, Maryland, surveys both students and teachers on social and emotional factors and uses these results to guide internal decision-making. Game-based assessments are similar to Scholastic stealth assessment software. However, the program is based in a video game format, creating a fun and enjoyable assessment for students to complete. Performance/portfolio-based assessments include projects, both individual and group presentations, reports, and papers that student has completed throughout their 12K schooling to collect progress data. And finally, inspections. Inspections include yearly school-wide examinations by a certified inspector. The inspector would observe lessons, watch how students work and behave, and interview students and staff members. I believe that these alternatives could create a low-stress environment for both the students as well as the teachers without having to lose vital data collection. In conclusion, mandatory standardized tests only cover a limited number of topics. These topics including reading, writing, and math, and exclude other important topics such as history, science, technology, and art. In addition, students are required to take too many tests. As previously stated, an average student in the United States will take 112 standardized tests from kindergarten to 12th grade. And finally, with so much writing on these tests, teachers are often forced to teach the test instead of being able to teach other important topics and subjects that will help students later in life. Thank you.